Hey there, how does that saying go? Look good, feel good? Well, this one doesn't really apply to websites. It isn't enough to have a good looking website with a jaw dropping design. What does it matter if it loads for a decade, freezes, and crashes often? In today's fast moving world, you only have a couple of seconds to capture a site visitor's attention and interest, so having a website that has quick loading time and performs well is arguably as important as having a good looking website. For this reason, in today's video, we'll cover the essentials of website optimization and achieving top-notch performance. And as per usual, the basics will be discussed here, and you can find more in-depth information in our documentation and blog. First things first, to understand how to improve the performance of your website, you need to understand which of its areas are lacking and need fixing. Therefore, your first step is to do some testing and see the exact reasons behind its lackluster performance. We can recommend you free tools to test your site speed: GTmetrix, PageSpeed Insights, and Pingdom. You can find out our detailed tutorial on how to use these tools in our blog article called 6 Tips to Speed Up Your Photography WordPress Site. And a couple of things I would like to mention is to pay extra attention when you're choosing your server location in the tool for testing your site. Choose the one which is the closest to your client's location. So if you're in the US, choose a server from the US. If you're in the UK, choose one in London, and so on. And this is also applicable to your hosting of choice. If your website hosting isn't in your country or your target client's country, your performance score will suffer as well. Our next topic of discussion is plugins to help you optimize your site. But before we get to that, please keep in mind that it's very important to create a backup of your site before you start installing optimization plugins. When choosing plugins, our recommendation is as follows. Use a single plugin that embodies all the needed features like caching, JS and CSS minification, and so on. Alternatively, if you prefer to opt for multiple plugins, make sure that their settings aren't in conflict with each other, as it will drag down your site's overall performance and speed. Here's a list of a couple of reliable plugins that we recommend for you to use. Auto Optimize will help you minify and combine CSS and JS files to improve your load time. WordPress Performance Score Booster will improve various rules for your website like JZip compression, leverage browser caching, and remove query strings from static resources, for instance. WordPress Supercache will greatly improve your loading time, but make sure to follow a tutorial on setting it up correctly, as a wrong configuration can create more harm than good. Asset Cleanup PageSpeed Booster enables you to disable certain styles and scripts to avoid CSS and JS files blocking your page rendering or slowing down your site. WordPress Rocket, while it's a paid plugin, it's well worth its money, being one of the best all-in-one optimization plugins that are currently available on the market. It offers a multitude of optimization features like caching, CSS and JS minification, Google font optimization, and many others. And one last thing about plugins, please keep in mind to clear your website's cache after enabling an optimization plugin. This way you can check that things like images, contact forms, and slideshows are displaying correctly. Moving on, we have one of the main culprits of slowing down photography websites: images. Of course, you need a lot of images for a website that showcases your photography services. There is no way around that. To make sure that your images aren't dragging down your site's performance too much, the best approach is to always choose quality over quantity. The second thing to mention is to always strive to optimize your images as much as possible without losing the quality of sharpness, of course. We recommend you optimize images before you upload using tools like JPEG Mini and TinyPNG. But if you need to optimize images that were already uploaded, there are tools for that as well, the sort of Imagify, WordPress Smosh Pro, TinyPNG plugin, and ShortPixel. The next point is only valid in case you have clients and website visitors from multiple countries. If that is your case, you might want to use a CDN, or Content Delivery Network. To put it in simple terms, what a CDN does is store static content from your website like images, CSS, and JS on various servers all across the globe. This way, when someone from a different country than yours accesses your website, they receive the info from the server that's closest to them, as opposed to having to pull it from your server. This drastically increases the loading speed for international visitors to your website. Free CDN solutions that we recommend you are CDN 77, StackPath, and Cloudflare. But keep in mind that CDN aren't for everybody and should be opted for only when you have a large number of international clients and have tried every other option to optimize your website. Last but definitely not least is the choice of a hosting provider. A host with a slow response time, or that can't handle the necessary amount of traffic, negates all the hard work you put into your website. Choosing the right hosting provider is most important business decision when it comes to your website. This choice impacts how your website works, its loading time, not to mention how secure it is and how often it creates backups of your website. There are 5 crucial criteria that you need to take into account when looking into a hosting provider: speed, server location in relation to your customers, price, customer support, and site traffic. Choosing a great hosting provider is more of a business investment than an expense and should be viewed as such, and rarely does it work out well if you go for the first cheap option you happen to find. And that's it for today's video lesson. Remember, optimizing your website's performance and speed isn't a one and done thing, and there is no one size fits all solution. It's something you will always work on and tinker with until you find the right combination of factors for you. It's hard work, but it's extremely rewarding once you get it right. See you in the next video.